Is Russ Rapp really wearing a Trump hat? How can someone who talks about non-duality support the most divisive US president in history? Is this a joke? Before you click unsubscribe or write a nasty comment, hear me out. This is going to be huge. This may be exactly the message of non-duality that you need to hear right now. Because I think a lot of people that come to the concept of non-duality have a certain political persuasion. And I think there's some reasons for that, but I'm not going to get into that right now in this video because that would take a little too long. But right now in the United States, we have a really big election between President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. And just wearing a Trump hat can be a symbol of division. And I think we need to examine this idea to really get to the root of what non-duality is talking about. Because many times people are seeking non-duality to connect with this idea of oneness, this positive sense of feelings where everything is what is and there's no separation, and the sense of losing an identity. But the moment for many people they see a symbol, they get triggered of all these emotions. Maybe some of you out there support President Trump and you're like excited that I'm wearing this hat, and there's probably a large percentage of you as well that feel that wearing this hat is somehow anti-non-duality or against the principles of non-duality or something like that. But the whole idea of wearing this hat is to really show that non-duality has nothing to do with your political beliefs or beliefs in general. You're going to have beliefs regardless, but it doesn't change the truth of non-duality. And so many times when we come to non-duality from a sense of spiritual seeking, we're looking for the positive sense of this overflowing sense of love and connection in the positive way. And so we end up shoving into all the negative stuff that we don't like back into the shadow. So in a sense, seeking the light creates greater shadows. As you can see behind me, if I turn up the light, you get bigger shadows on the wall. And so as we seek the light, we end up dividing ourselves into greater shadows. And so the whole idea of non-duality is saying that there is no separation between who you identify with and who you don't identify with, whether it's internally or with others. So you can shut out the shadow and pretend it's not you, but ultimately that's another way to divide oneself. And so if you're emotionally charged by seeing this Trump hat, really question why you're coming to this concept of non-duality, what you're seeking, because the message of non-duality has nothing to do with the speaker, the one communicating it. So the message is separate from the messenger. And a lot of times we connect with the messenger, but when we, let's say, meet them in real lives or find something out about them that we don't agree with, then all of a sudden, they're cast aside, and the message that they're bringing is somehow illegitimate or disregarded at that point. And so, especially when you talk about fame and people that have that we build up, we make them into these bigger than life characters, and then ultimately, once we do that, there's a sense of us versus them. I'm not special. This person is special. I want to be special, so I build this person up. And then I tear them down because I don't like the fact that I created this fake separation, essentially. And so when you're coming to the concept of non-duality, non-duality isn't really a concept, but we can talk about it, but it is what is. And so whether you have a certain political belief or you have passion about certain things in life, none of that goes away. There may be a reframing of the significance of those beliefs or those passions, those things that you care about. But ultimately, there's this idea of when you get into when you become non-dual or have some sort of non-dual awakening, that somehow you lose yourself and that there is no person and everything that you once were is no longer there, and that how do I even go through life when life is meaningless and I don't have any passion anymore because now everything is me and we're all this oneness. But then that person that is you is still there. And so there's this disconnect of thinking, well, I don't have passion anymore. But who is not having passion? Who is losing their beliefs? There is still a person doing something. And so there's that. So in trying to be a non-person, it's a person trying to be a non-person or to get rid of your beliefs. And so non-duality can really, in a functional sense, point to this idea of duality and help you to question that and not hold on to it so tightly like it's life or death. So if you're feeling like you want to come on the attack and write a nasty message, or you're really excited that I'm wearing a Trump hat, that's really illustrating how the separate self, how the mind works, your thought processes work moment to moment, every day of your life. And so we're always creating these separations in our mind, and until we really question those, we're still identified with who we are, but we aren't. So leave me a comment, whether it's good or bad. It is what it is. But I'd be curious to have your thoughts on this. So until next time, peace.